there we go. Once again, the intro credits. I love it. I love them. I love this game. I just love it. Um, thanks for thanks for joining us, y'all. We're gonna get going now with some group therapy, a chance to check in with our characters and see emotionally how they're feeling about current events, things that have happened in the game. And does someone want to start? No, people
No, no,
don't
I'll,
want to.
I'll
Don't want to
start. I'll
start.
start.
Someone start.
Just recalling. Hold on. Give me a second. So things happened. What happened?
So,
Do you want me to go?
Sure.
Maybe. Okay.
I'm so bad at
So
recalling games.
Ellie had like a kick-ass last session. She's feeling so unbelievably like proud of herself and just like, yeah, I got this situation. She went off and pretended to be. Oh well, no. First of all, I think it was last session that she worked out that it was Egrian.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
With her like mind reading thing, and like managed to try and get some information out of him, and then revealed who he was to Eridu, and like let that happen, and then went off and used the like hologram phone, pretending to be Egrian, pretending to be the bartender to the drow people, and was just like giving orders, messed up a bit, went back, gave more orders, and essentially it was just like, nah, forget it, we're not going all the way to the place where they are, they're just going to come to us. Then she marches back out all like proud of herself, they turn up still proud of herself, and then it kind of went a little bit wrong, so you know, but it's fine, she's still happy, she's, you know, she did good things.
I mean, she made them go out and sacrifice themselves.
That's fine. That's fine.
Fine.
It is.
Nothing to worry
She's
about.
so good. She's so good.
Oh my
She's
gosh.
a good person.
I've been telling the Eridu stabbing Egrian in the chest story all week this week,
Oh my goodness.
and I can't believe that I forgot what happened last session just a few minutes ago, because I've told that story at least 4 times this week.
Well, why don't you tell it one more time?
Well, Eridu's probably feeling a little more like in tune with himself and like how he used to feel than he has been for a little while. He kind of got given his whole little test thing with Egrian, where he could have very much become more like what his father wanted from him by killing him. And if you don't remember, last week, or if you didn't see it, last week they discovered that the bartender Alan was actually Egrian in disguise. And so when Eridu figured that out, he decided to stab his broken part of his staff of healing into Egrian's chest and then heal Egrian before he would actually, bleed out and die. With the staff of healing, that's in his body. It was painful. It was pretty badass. I was proud of it.
Yeah, dude. It was
And
gross.
then Leah, convinced him that he was going too far and he needed to take a step back. And then Agrian did the whole, yes, kill me. That's the right move to make. And Eridu was like, well, that was just kind of a dumb thing to say. And then Eridu pointed out, like, if you really want me to do something, you probably should try to convince me to do the opposite. Which leads me to believe, as a player, that maybe Agrian was actually attempting to manipulate Eridu into not killing him so that, he wouldn't be dead. Just a thought that I have as a player.
Yeah. It's a lot of layers right there. A lot of baggage with that familial relationship right there.
Anyway, he's that he was able to sort of lead everyone out the back since he noticed there was a back entrance when they were in the kitchen. So there's that. I think that's kind of where we're headed, right?
Hopefully.
Well, as I understood it, we're currently all still in the common room area, and the wall's just been busted into. That's how I viewed the whole thing.
Yeah, no, we haven't done any actual escaping yet.
Yeah, we're gonna turn and run. Maybe.
Well,
Or maybe we won't. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes. I'll go ahead and go with Egner next. And
Yep.
Egner, in general terms, since they entered the city, they had to go through the sewers, and it was stinky and kind of gross, and they had to get by some pesky little basilisk something. We had to get by them, and Egner has a solid feeling like that's not the last of the basilisks. Not really. They're probably going to come back. Um, but ever since they've actually been in the city, Egner's been on high alert mode. He wants to feel comfortable being back in a familiar place, but he knows that the rules have changed entirely. And the situation in the city is, it's just like a different game. Different people are in charge. There are way more unknowns, and they are less and less like safe places to be. And even when they entered the Cornerstone, which by all rights should have been a safe place for them to be, Egner knew something was up. And, when it got revealed that it was Agrian, who is actually disguising himself as Alan, Egner just knows that this situation's only going to get worse. And therefore, he is upping his vigilant mode to deal with whatever comes next. And then, of course, 2 Warforged bust through the wall. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Egner's ready to go, is what I'm saying. It's just ready to go.
Remember, they're discount Warforged, but we don't know that.
Oh, I see.
I'm allowed to link because I'm awesome. If you give me your links, I'll throw them up there.
Give him
I
the links.
in the other chat.
I also think I have some administrative thingy majiggy attached to this, so
Because you're awesome.
yeah, because I'm awesome.
Mhm.
I forgot to announce that, so figured we'd talk about it now.
Is it my turn now, or?
I believe it is.
Okay. Leah's had another kind of roller coaster experience. At the beginning, she was super worried because she let Eridu go off with Halifax. What the heck? But then, hey, he was okay. Everything was okay. And then suddenly everything was really, really not okay because Agrian was right there. And she freaked out a lot. And then Halifax helped her in a way she didn't like, but she took it anyway. And it turned out that was really important because then she was able to actually talk Eridu down from making a big mistake. But now that, just prior to the crashing in of the wall and the appearance of the Warforged, she was starting to actually decide to get worried about something else, because now she feels like she personally has sent Halifax off with Agrian, and something terrible is going to happen, and it's going to be her fault, because she's definitely going to take all of that on herself. That's how she do. And then, I guess the other thing really is that she's probably never seen any kind of Warforged before, cheap knockoff or not. So that first experience of them marching through, she was probably just really focused on Granny Egner.
Oh yeah, that was really fun. That was great. I really enjoyed myself during that short little time.
Grandma Egner.
No, dear, you're so kind. Yeah. Okay, that's enough.
Yeah. But now there's one crashing through the wall, and she's never seen it before, so she's probably freaking out.
Yeah, it's not a good situation. Now.
I'm probably forgetting something, but that's all I've got right now.
So, as with last time, we had a bit of a flashback, having a look into a snippet of Ellie's past, providing context to current events. We're going to do that again, except this time, having a look at Leah and Eridu.
What?
It's
No one
tight.
told me
Leah and
that I was
Eridu.
gonna do
Guess who's
this.
tight?
Thank you. It's cold up north. North. Yeah.
If you didn't know, Drew lives on the North Pole. He's actually
He's actually Santa Claus.
no,
Yeah.
he's Santa's lawyer. His legal representative.
No quid pro quo. I just go and give these presents.
Oh my god.
Every year I do this.
Kyle, why?
Sorry. Couldn't help myself.
Oh.
Drew does get very busy this time of year, having to solve breaking and entering
Yeah.
cases constantly.
Yeah. The constant
But-
associations between Santa and Krampus, and it's just you got to smooth that stuff over. Bit of political spackle.
Yeah. And Krampus has a pretty good lawyer, so
Yeah.
this went really far. Let's go ahead and get into the game. I'm sorry.
We're sorry about that. Not sorry.
Little sorry.
A little sorry.
So,
So
Leah, Eridu, we're having a snippet into your past. So this will be about 100 years ago? Less than that?
150. I
Yeah.
think.
More than 150 years.
Yeah. It's been a while. We're old.
So old. Middle aged, even.
So this takes place back then. Where are you?
I think we had discussed that at times when, because at the time that we're thinking of, they are not normally in the same place together. Leah's out in the world, having her own adventures, misadventures. Eridu is still very much a part of the drow thing, and going on missions and stuff, right?
Yeah. I like the idea of this being kind of a clandestine meeting in a Twin Harbor, 150 years ago,
Mm.
maybe 200 years ago. I don't know. A while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, shall we have it in the Cornerstone? But
Ooh.
200 years ago, so it's not Alan, it's Dave.
Or shouldn't it be
Alan's great
Steve.
great grandfather.
There we go, right. So the Cornerstone owned by Steve.
Right. I suppose Leah would already be there waiting for Eridu to come in.
Yeah.
Like send each other messages when they think they can spare time to.
Yeah, I think they'd have sort of like a little twin code that they use. And then, they could do like a courier pigeon thing.
Mm.
I'm sure they could find someone to like magic a message here and there. Anywho, Eridu will come in the door, dressed in a dark, simple robe, his hood over his face, the shadow covering his features, because no one ever suspects the stranger in a dark robe of being up to something.
look totally innocent, dude.
The tavern itself is filled with strangers in dark robes.
Yeah, of course.
Potentially. I don't know. That's the GM's job to decide.
You know what? This is back in the wilds of. Oh, this is technically a. Oh wait, no. No, it's not. I was going to say, isn't this like the prequel thing that Josh did, sort of era? But I think
Yeah,
his was like 1,000 years ago, not 100 years ago.
Oh yeah, that was definitely longer ago than
Yeah.
150.
But yeah, you've got the Cornerstone has always been the cornerstone of the community. And there's the jobs board outside, which attracts all sorts of adventurers. So you've got adventuring parties at tables with maps spread out, a few daggers like stabbed into the table, piles of silver coins and small gemstones being passed around, a group of dwarves arguing about where to go. There's some humans with hoods up and leather armor pointing to various places on maps. It's noisy enough that you're very much aware that people are there, but not so much that your conversation is drowned out.
All right.
Leah is actually wearing color for once instead of just gray. And she's made no efforts to disguise herself because she just looks like an elf woman enjoying a pleasant evening, wearing a blue dress at a table all by herself.
Eridu, stepping into the bar, casts suspicious looks at all of the hooded figures, and then makes this sort of like maybe a little too complex passage through the inn or through the tavern, and then takes a seat down at the table next to Leah's table, and then kind of leans his chair so that they're back to back and says, "You're sure you weren't followed?"
Aren't you overdoing it a bit?
I don't know. Drow are really good at having eyes everywhere. They can't be too careful.
I can't guarantee I wasn't followed, but I don't. If I was, it wasn't by any drow.
Oh, okay. I could say the same. And then he takes his chair and pushes it up to the table and pulls his hood back.
I was happy to receive a message from you. It's been too long. I miss you.
Well, things have gotten tense. Agrian seems to be upsetting some of the priestesses, so we've had to keep things a little bit locked down. I've missed you too, sister.
Yeah, I'm glad that you contacted me because I had some things that I wanted to talk to you about. I first of all, I wanted to say that I think I finally understand. Well, I've always had a hard time understanding why you follow Agrian, but I think I finally maybe understand what it's like to believe in someone that maybe one shouldn't, but not being able to recognize the signs right away. But I was hoping that maybe we could talk about you and Agrian and maybe in a new light. I don't want to argue with you anymore, but I do want to talk.
No, well, it just so happens that I have reached out to you for the same reason. I also would like to talk about me and Agrian and...
Really? Regarding what specifically?
Well, he has always been very tight-lipped about anything that he's planning, but there's one thing he's never been with me, it's dishonest. And I have to say, given his most recent schemes, I'm very concerned that Agrian may not have the benevolent ideals that I believed him to have been striving for. I do think his attempt to overthrow the hierarchy has more to do with trying to elevate himself than trying to free those who are currently in a state of distress.
I'm not going to say I told you so because I had almost an exactly similar experience.
It's like 100 years ago. You're like behind the ball there, Eridu.
No, I mean, I had my own experience not very long ago
Oh, um,
where I believed in someone's ideals, and it turns out that it was all for themselves. I don't really want to get into details over it, though. I think the problem has been solved.
very well. I won't ask questions. It's something that I can excel at.
At that moment, you hear Steve, the bartender, yell, "Alan! Alan!" as a dog runs out from behind the bar and rushes towards some new patrons coming into the bar.
It was named after the
I
dog.
love it. Alan! Alan! It's great.
Yes, the dog jumps up at two dwarven soldiers, a drow soldier, and one of the local town's guard, all coming in, laughing, joking together, and finding a table to sit down and play a friendly game of cards.
Eridu gives a bit of a start, sees the drow, and throws his hood back up.
Leah turns slightly.
Just like,
Her hair is not back this time; it's down, so it's just like just
yeah. We will hit pause on the flashback. This might be something that we revisit at the next session, or perhaps after the break. But yes, I think that's a good place to leave the flashback there. Cool. I like the whole pre-Finnegan shenanigans Eridu Leah discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Where we were in the present period of time, a Warforged had crashed through the cornerstone, smashing down the wall, which means that when Ellie bolted the door, that seems almost moot now.
It's like,
yeah.
it's like we in the flashback just saw a drow and a few dwarves walk through a door, and then we go to the present, and then Warforged crashes through the same door.
Warforged crashes through. There's a drow dragging his blades through this thing's chest and gets picked up by another Warforged behind him and gets thrown over the second Warforged's shoulder. The drow soldiers that Ellie as Alan, as Adrian as Alan,
Yes.
instructed them to go out and fight. They are now fighting the dwarven heavy-plated soldiers and the Warforged outside. Inside the bar, you have two unconscious bodies, Emily and Alan. You also have a chest with the artifact inside, and you also, or at least Eridu and Leah, have the sensation of being watched. And they've communicated that perhaps this is some scrying effect.
And that's when...
Ida
Yeah!
had cast Dispel Magic to try and get rid of any potential scrying magical effect. And so he cast this spell, the things crashed through the wall, and that's where we left it. Igna's spell goes off. We see a brief shimmering in the air around his hands that then expands like a wave outwards, seeking magical effects for them to disenchant. And as is usual with Dispel Magic, without it being like an active visual magical effect, you don't know if it was successful. However, Eridu and Leah still have the sensation of being watched.
okay.
Shit. Well, Agner just assumes that he did the thing, and he quickly takes Talon's blade out of its sheath and whips his left arm around, and the radiant light energy that is now his shield springs forth, and he's in defensive position. And he shouts, "Everybody behind me!"
Excellent. Let's quickly go into initiative to see who's acting when. But I anticipate that this could go in one of two ways. So the initiative may be a short run thing. Let's find out. There it is.
Egner is slow as usual.
So is Eridu. Surprisingly slow.
I got a 6.
Well, I don't know what I got yet.
I got an 18 total.
What was that again? Sorry, Alex.
18 total.
18 total.
12. For me.
18, 12, Overture. 6 for Igna. What was Eridu's again?
My internet is taking forever to load D&D Beyond. So I don't know yet. But I'm pretty sure it's a 5 because I think I only have a +3 to dexterity.
Yeah, I can see you can only have +3 to dexterity on the
Perfect.
Twitch overlay.
Then that is it. 5. 5 it is. 5 is
Okay, that is unfortunate. So yeah, I rolled a 19. So they get to go first. The Warforged picking itself up out of the rubble, turning around and seeing the bar full of people, but turning back towards the drow and continuing its assault. The drow and the Warforged and the dwarves constantly fighting. It seems that as far as the Warforged and the dwarves are concerned, you're just bar patrons.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Leah.
wow.
I am not strong, but I am going to attempt to approach one of the 3 items that are currently lying on the floor and take them away to safety. What is the smallest?
The smallest would be the artifact rather than a person.
Okay. So I will attempt to pick up the chest then.
Okay.
And,
It's quite hefty, but it's still possible for you to pick up on your own and move around, depending on your strength. Do you have a strength of 9 or lower?
I have a strength of
8.
lower than that.
In that case, you struggle with the chest. You can drag it around, but you can't lift it.
Okay. I am going to open it up and and try to look inside. See what's so heavy.
Oh my god. It's
I
like a
know.
Raiders from the Lost Ark moment. Oh,
Yeah, I was thinking the
no.
same thing.
Total Raiders moment, dude.
You've got
Well,
the...
I could. Okay, hang on. I could think better of it.
Raiders of
No,
the
no,
Lost
no,
Ark.
like it won't kill you just by looking in the chest. So
I'm sorry, I
as you
just had to bring that up.
creak this chest open, you see that inside it is velvet lined. You can hear the sounds of battle going on around about you, shouts from your teammates, orders going on, and looking inside, you see this harmless-looking orb. It looks like a metal lattice work orb, quite beautifully crafted. It's made of layers upon layers of this very strange metal that at certain angles, the way that the light catches it, looks almost iridescent. But at other angles, it looks very muted. A strange looking device, and you get this feeling of dread just by looking at it.
Closing that lid very quickly. Definitely annoyed that the orb appears to be so heavy that I can't even drag the thing, but
The orb itself is considerably smaller than the chest. It seems that almost half of the weight was the chest itself.
that's what I was afraid of. But on the other hand, probably don't want to mess with that, maybe. I'm going to attempt to drag it toward the kitchen.
All right. Give me an athletics ability check.
Yeah, it's gonna
See if you get all the way to the kitchen.
yeah.
Here goes nothing. It's
Well,
no one saw that, Drew. It's okay.
No, it's all.
No one
I'm
saw
still
that.
cool.
You're still cool.
I didn't see it.
I was talking to my dogs.
12.
12. You do manage to get it to the kitchen as bits of splintered wall start flying around the room. You're able to drag this chest away. Ellie.
Yeah. Oh, I'm torn between two things that I want to do, and both things are bad things.
Find a way to do them both. Be greedy. It's okay.
Part of me wants to cast Blink and then appear on one of the Warforged backs and start pulling its insides out.
Oh my goodness.
Now is not the time for
But that's how I get killed. So the other part of me is like Ellie has full eyes on this chest because it's her thing that she's meant to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a way that I could like store it inside Ein?
Because Ein's just medium-sized, isn't he?
Yeah.
The chest, no, but the artifact, yes.
Was my instructions the box with the orb or just the orb?
Just the orb.
Alright, okay. Fine. Okay, I'm gonna follow after Leah. And I'm gonna... Oh, it's so risky. I'm gonna take out a pair of, like, work gloves. Like, that I would use to, like, work on iron or something. It's, like, big leather, thick gloves that can hold, like, really hot things.
Mm.
I'm gonna open the chest. I'm gonna look briefly at Leah. And then say, maybe you should, like, I don't know, stand back a little just in case. And then I'm gonna lean down and I'm gonna try and pick the orb up.
See, I thought about doing that, and I just didn't think it sounded like a good idea.
Give me a... It's going to be a wisdom saving throw, but it's against a fear effect, so if you've got any
Okay.
things to do with that.
I don't think I do. I don't
Yikes.
think I do. That's fine.
I was trying to excuse in my mind making it an intelligence saving throw, but it's
Oh, it's not good.
No.
Pull you out of my next one.
3?
Wow. Wow.
You're not stopped from picking up the orb, but you are frightened of it after you do. So you can't move yourself closer to it, but you already have it in your hands. So you can walk
running around the room screaming.
in Ein, but
I'm like, no! Around the room. Alright, yeah.
I'm just
well,
thinking Pippin when he picks up the Eye of Sauron and he's like screaming, but he can't let go of it.
The Palantir. The Palantir, duh.
But he
I
sees
think
the Eye of
that's-
Sauron. There was an eye in there somewhere.
I think that's probably what she'll be doing. She would just start screaming with this thing in her hand. And then still, I think if, like, I'm allowed to still have my sort of, like you said, kind of mental capacity that, like, to get it away from me and get rid of it, I need to put it away. So I'm going to try and shove it into, like, a part of Ein, like, lift up a, like, flap of metal on him and, like, shove it inside.
yeah. There's no checks needed for that. You just run up to Ein quickly, open up a flap and shove it in. The moment you let go of the orb, the fear dissipates, but not the memory of it. Like you remember that it was scary, and you almost start to rationalize that there was a reason for it.
Okay. Is that my turn? There's reason for it? Why was that a groan? Have I missed something?
No, I was just gonna say that I'm stoked for the magic of the orb to just totally, like, superpower Ein. Like, he turns into, like, a fucking terrifying eldritch machine. Like,
I do
That's
think we
gonna be
just
great.
discovered it's not an orb or a sphere of annihilation.
Oh, it's the spark of leadership or whatever.
Oh, the all spark of leadership.
Optimus Ein.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be your turn. Getting the orb, running back to Ein, shoving it in.
Okay.
Um,
I stand protectively at that where I put it in. Like, I don't want anyone else touching it. I'm being very protective of it.
Aina.
Well, Egner is hearing all sorts of stuff going on
Ellen is
around him.
screaming.
Ellie's
Top of the lip.
screaming behind him. The sounds of battle off over in that direction, perhaps. He can really pick out a lot of fine details in the clashing of blades, the sound of the blades ripping into like the exposed little bits between the plates of metal on the warforged bodies. Hearing the groans of the warforged that have already been injured and laying on the ground. I mean the drow. That's what I meant to say. The drow that are already injured and laying on the ground. And he just immediately thinks about how he's going to facilitate a tactical retreat. And he immediately remembers that there is an entrance, or an exit point rather, from the cornerstone through the kitchen in the back. If they just go behind the bar, go to the kitchen, go through the kitchen, there's a way to get out over there. So what he's going to do to facilitate that tactical retreat, we're not just running away like little wussies, guys. It's called a tactical retreat. What he's going to do is that he's going to use his channel divinity to invoke duplicity, and he's going to create an illusionary version of himself. Yeah, I'll do it in a second. 30 feet over in the direction, pretty much in the thick of the battle between the Warforged and the Drow. He's just going to get an illusionary Egner out there in a defensive stance, ready to take on all comers. And then he's going to turn and yell to everyone, "Everyone, out! Through the kitchen! Now! Go! Retreat!" And then he'll just kind of lead the charge over in that direction.
What about the bodies?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, if he doesn't think of them, he doesn't think of them.
Well,
but he is going to be running back in to grab the next one.
I
There's still
assume.
a couple of people.
Well, I could probably assume that someone informed Egner that that's what's going
right.
on.
Yeah. Would have had to have told him.
For sure.
Well, just shout back. Just shout back.
He'll.
Hang on, there's two people that need picking up.
And,
Marjorie can pick them up.
well,
How could she's a spellcaster. She's not strong.
Egner's strong. Well, I'm gonna assume that Egner was told, and I'm gonna roll a d4 to see whether he picks up Emily or Alan. And it was Alan.
Yeah, damn right it was.
And Egner picks up Alan and then just boom, potato sacks him on his shoulder and just leads the charge out through the back. Tactical retreat.
Excellent. Eridu.
Well, you left. Why is our party so weak? Eridu will attempt to get Emily moving, but I have a strength of 8, so
I can't be the only strong person. Yeah.
you quite literally are.
You could put her on Ein. Ein could probably carry her out.
Yeah, but I think her being just dead weight, and she's a monk, so she's not puny. She has muscle, so he's got something to fight. He probably mostly drags her over to Ein, and then just kind of I need your help, robot bear thing.
Oh, would Emily be 120 pounds?
Probably, and she'd be at least that. She might be a little more if she's got lean muscle.
I don't know imperial weights that well.
Well, it's £14 to a stone.
Oh,
Does that
okay.
help?
Yeah, it does actually.
I think she'd be heavier than 120.
Eight
I,
stone. Mm,
I think being someone who is reasonably fit and well, I'm pretty fit. She's a monk. I think she'd be more than that. Yeah.
yeah, she'd probably be closer to like 10 to 10 stone probably. So yeah, so heavier
Which
than you
is-
can carry. Yes.
Mhm.
But you can
Yeah.
drag.
Yep, you can drag her.
Drag that weight.
That's exactly what I did. I dragged her over to Ein.
Brilliant.
I mean, probably moving half my speed, which is still like 25 feet.
Damn, that's some movement right there.
So I'm fast dragging.
We won't tell Emily afterward that's how you treated her when she was unconscious.
Right, unceremoniously
Yeah.
drug her across the barroom floor.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure Ellie's loving that.
She doesn't have so much of a problem with actual Ellie. Actual Ellie. You know what I mean.
Yeah. So
Out of it, aren't we?
dragging across the floor, splinters getting caught up in Emily's hair. The Warforged and dwarves, they then dispatch the two drow and turn their attentions to the Aigner that is standing his ground outside, shield drawn, ready for action. You'll hear at a distance the dwarves shouting over to the illusory Aigner, saying, "Identify yourself. Lower your weapon."
I'm not sure if illusionary Agner acts on his own accord or just kind of executes the programming that I kind of
He
set
has an
on him.
auto response. All your base are belong to us.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he just kind of. No, I just think he kind of like turns to them and then does this little like shield and sword flourish, and like maybe it's almost a like bring it kind of
Yeah,
mentality or
you
something.
basically get to control him, but he can't act autonomously. So you need to like
Oh.
think and like move him around,
Mm-hmm.
tell him what to do.
So
Let's see.
you automatically express the "come at me, bro," and that's what he emotes for you.
I mean, whenever he summons that illusionary version, that's usually the purpose of it, is to do that "come at me, bro." So I would say that's the default kind of appearance of illusionary Agner. The Agner.
I like to think that if actual Aigner ever gets knocked out while illusory Aigner's there, illusory Aigner just T-poses and has AFK appear above his head.
I like it. Let's work that in. Let's work that in.
Okay, so yeah, let's pull a come at me, and they descend upon the illusion, starting to attack and hack away. Your illusion's invulnerable, though, isn't it?
Yeah, like essentially what happens is that their weapons would immediately fall through, doing nothing, not really dispelling the illusion, but obviously showing that there's nothing there. And it just lasts for like a minute. So if they just stand around for a minute or whatever, it's just like a distraction. It's not going to do any damage to anyone. It's just
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, the dwarves and the warforged like stand in with their halberds poking in, hands crushing down towards him, and it's basically like Luke in The Last Jedi, just getting all those shots and explosions, and he's still standing there.
I'm impervious. Actually, I'm just an illusion.
Yeah, none of them are chasing you as yet, but you've still not all fully left the bar area. Leah.
Does it look like Ein is going to pick up Ethel, or should I go and try to help? Not Ethel.
Emily.
So many
Emily.
E names,
I know,
right?
there's a lot of E names. I know. But to be fair, I was the original E name.
Yeah, you say that. You say that.
There's Aigner, Eridu, there's Ellie, there's Ethel, there's Emily.
Yes.
There's
There's
a lot.
Ian. There's
Edward.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of named after Egner, so like kind of is the same thing. I don't know.
Well, he is named after it.
Yeah,
He's just too embarrassed to keep
Yeah.
it being his name.
Exactly.
Where'd you get a candy wrapper?
It's still got like half of Agnes' name like written across the thing. She's just scribbled it out, and you can only just see it.
That's adorable.
Leah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Leah's trying to figure out if she needs to run back in and try to grab Emily, or if it looks like it's being handled.
Emily's being dragged by Eridu.
Yes, to Ein.
Yeah. That was my understanding.
That was Eridu, by the way, who asked Ein where he got a candy wrapper from. It was all in game. Wasn't talking to my dogs, nothing like that. Didn't think I was muted when I wasn't.
Well, if Ein has not yet picked up Emily, because that is going to happen in a few minutes or whatever, or in a few seconds, I'm just trying to decide if Leah thinks that's sorted or if she feels like she needs to be responsible and like run back out there. Nope, I think she's going to have blind faith in Eridu's abilities and keep heading where everyone else is heading, out through the kitchen.
If Eridu wasn't being a big dumb dummy, he'd turn into something strong and pick her up.
Big dum dum.
Right, so Leah heading out through the exit in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You'll be able to get all the way to the door, open it, and in the alleyway, coast is clear. You see a few boxes around, some posters plastered up on the walls. On the roof of the building opposite, you see Adrian standing there with Halifax's staff.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Okay.
He doesn't say anything, but he just smiles.
Well, Leah freezes. She's not fight or flight, it's just freeze.
I was about to say it's Agnes' turn, but
Well,
in reality, you have just moved and not taken an action, and you've not moved enough to warrant a dash. So, if you do want to take an action, you can do, which can include dashing and moving back into the bar or running down the alleyway.
Yeah, I think she would. She would run back in, not all the way in, but back in toward the kitchen, and tell the first person she sees that Agrian's out there that he escaped. But also, she is panicking, like she is full on panicking. So that's probably not useful.
I'd say Agner and Marjorie would be the first ones encountered.
true.
Marjorie's just following Agner's lead because big scary things are happening.
Okay, well, so she panickedly relays this information, and there's just this wave of blind terror coming out of her.
All right, I'm going to roll a wisdom saving throw to see if Egner resists the
I think
terror.
this should be sufficient enough that Ellie would also need to make a save.
Okay. Wisdom save.
Is Eridu just entirely immune or just resistant to?
I don't think we've established.
I have been just doing resistant too, so I've been
Then-
giving him advantage.
Yeah, make a
Yeah.
saving throw with advantage.
Advantage on the save, totally makes sense.
I
All right.
came up with my own rules.
Yep.
Egner gets a 22. How's that for resisting the wave of terror?
You have resisted.
Yeah, cool.
Is it a
15.
wisdom save?
It's a wisdom
Yeah,
save.
18 is the DC.
I got 15.
Oh, I'm
19.
sorry, Ellie.
I actually got the lowest.
Wow.
Both of your rolls?
Wow.
I got a 12. I rolled an 8 and a 3.
So what are we feeling? What's the like?
Terror.
What's it do to us? Oh God. Okay.
I suppose.
Just constant for Ellie.
Yeah,
More
from
screaming.
Ellie's point of view, she put the orb inside Ein. The fear disappeared for a moment, and then Eridu dragged Emily close to Ein, and then the panic returns.
It's all Emily. It's all
Clearly.
Emily.
Wow. And okay, so Leah comes charging in, says, "Hey, Grant's outside," and is just like projecting all this terror, and a wave of it washes over Egner, but then he just like snaps his head and goes a little bit, and just shakes it off. And in as strong, like commanding tone as he can, he'll say, "We can't worry about that right now. We're carrying precious cargo," clutching Alan,
Is it not my turn?
No, it's oh, yes, it is. Immediately after Leah, not Aigner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Jake.
trying to take my turn.
Well,
Kyle.
hey, Drew told me. Drew told me to.
Whatever.
It's his fault. You told me to do that.
Yes, Ellie.
I plead the fifth.
Oh. Okay, I will, filled with intense fear, I guess. How close is Agna to me?
How close is Aigner to you? He'll be just past you into the kitchen. So,
Word.
10 feet.
Okay. Yeah, I'll like move towards where he is, and I'm gonna like grip hold of his like sleeves as hard as it like tight iron grip, and just feel like I feel like she's just screaming. I just feel like, what's happening? Taking him. Like, I don't know what to do.
Agnar's got sensitive hearing, right? He's got really sensitive hearing. Screaming right in his face is, yeah, it's gonna discombobulate him a little bit. Should Egner respond on his turn, or can he
No, you
respond a little
can
bit?
respond.
Oh.
Talking's a free action
Oh, for sure.
to within a reasonable degree.
Egner will, reflecting how strong his wisdom saving throw was earlier, he'll retain a degree of control and commanding presence in the midst of the battle, and he'll say, "Ellie, we're executing a tactical retreat. We have to go now."
Would I be able to tell that it's Leah's fear that I'm feeling? Like, after kind of being around her for this long? Well, actually, I haven't been around that long, but...
I think part of the danger of Leah's powers is that people don't necessarily know whether it's them or not.
Yeah, Eridu and Lilofax kind of figured it out after a while, but it was a while.
Okay. So what's happening with Emily? She's not on Iron yet.
She's still unconscious. She just needs hoiked onto Ein.
Okay. So like shakily nodding my head, I'll let go, and then kind of back over to where Emily is. I'll try and like push her onto Iron and try and get us to like get him to follow me out.
Under normal circumstances, does Ein act on his own initiative?
I don't think so. I think he acts after my turn, but
Like on your
it's a
initiative?
bonus action for me to tell him what to do.
Okay,
I think.
that's cool.
I've got the
I
book.
I was going after the mounted rules all over again, and I realised I had misunderstood them.
A lot of
Better than I thought they were.
A lot of rules that
Yeah.
use an additional companion have them go on their own initiative, so it's not an unusual question.
In combat, the
this-
Steel Defender shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. It can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes on its turn is the dodge action, unless you take a bonus action on your turn to command it to blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah,
I
blah.
choose that one.
To go blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so yeah, can I try and like push her onto him and then like I mean if he moves anyway, but basically I'm telling him or instructing him that we're leaving.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
I really want a warforged though.
There will be a time and a place for Ellie to get
There's only
her own war
Two though. Two like
These are the weak and sick ones. I can
it might be.
capture
They've
them.
I
already-
could lure them out. I could
They've
change
already got
into...
2. They can spare 1.
Am I still looking like Alan as well? I guess I would be.
I don't think that was dropped. Yeah.
Huh.
It's just your disguise hat, right? Which doesn't require concentration.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, so not Gloria. What's her name? Emily. On to Ein's back. Ein starts following Ellie out towards the rear of the bar. You're able to get to the back door near Leah. Aigner.
Well, Egner, confident in his resolve to execute this tactical retreat, shouts more encouragement to everyone and says, "Out to the alley and down it as quick as you can. Ignore Agrian." And he will try and encourage everyone to get the hell out of there. Because as much as he would like to ruin Agrian's day, and as cognizant as he is that if Agrian is out there looking like a threat, then it means that something has happened to Halifax. You know, he realizes that. He's put 2 and 2 together. But he realizes that the situation they're in right now with this something artifact, something that they don't understand at all, and these 2 unconscious people that they have to protect, he realizes that they just got to get out of there and find a safe place to be. And, yeah. They can only deal with one problem at a time, is what he's realizing. So he just retreats and tries to encourage everyone to follow him into the alley.
Excellent. In that case, Aigner, give me a charisma ability check.
Charisma is very mediocre, but I'm going to rely on the soul of the dice. It's the soul of the dice.
I'd like you to add your proficiency as well. I don't think there's a
Sick.
particular skill involved, but
For sure.
there's
I'm proficient in giving inspiring battle instructions.
yeah,
Word. Okay, so in that case, it actually makes it a 21.
excellent.
Hell yeah.
That beats the 18 DC that's inherent to Leah's fear. So I would say that your inspiring speech will allow people to act contrary to the fear without the fear being gone.
Word.
They're inspired enough to do what you say, but they still feel the fear.
I like it.
Oh yeah.
I feel
As you go out into
inspired.
the alley, you see Adrian is there. He's holding Halifax's staff, and he's also holding something else in his other hand. It is now Eridu's turn.
Well, I feel quite inspired,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm no longer carrying an Emily. But I'm also afraid. What is in Agrian's other hand?
If someone wants to go and make a perception check, because he's not like waving it about.
Oh, crit!
Oh wow.
Oh,
All right.
wow.
What do your fair elven eyes see, Eridu?
There's a 28, 29. Yeah, that's
So,
Freaking high.
rushing to the back door, looking up, seeing Agrian, Eridu recognizes immediately what is in Agrian's left hand. The orb, when Eridu saw it last, was itself encased in just a slightly broader, less dense latticework orb. Basically, a container that allowed you to hold on to it without succumbing to the fear.
Mm-hmm.
That is what Agrian is holding on to. It also looks like there is a switch on this device. His thumb is hovering over it.
Better be blowing up fine. I'll kick off.
Shit.
I mean, all right.
Is there
I'm gonna
anything that
I'm
Eridu
gonna do
wants to
something
do?
stupid.
Okay.
Get stupid.
I'm just gonna, whilst running out of the building, screaming to the sky, "Ah! Fireball!"
What?
I'm going to pull a Theola and fireball Agrian.
Oh, wait, how can you fireball?
By saying Hadouken,
Because,
obviously.
wait,
Wait.
hands go here, and then go here.
Shoryuken?
Ah,
Hadouken?
But strictly speaking, the mechanics of how Eridu creates a fireball is also on my mind a little.
Yeah, I mean,
Not the usual monk thing, is it?
yeah. I mean, what are
well-
you using to make it do the thing?
Fairy spells, surely.
you know, there are flames of the phoenix that is, in fact, a very monk thing. It is my newest monk.
Oh, it's
Dude.
like elemental discipline power type. Okay. Okay.
Mhm,
All right.
mhm. Which means somewhere on my body there's probably a flame tattoo.
Wow. All right.
And
I gotta see this for
Hold
myself.
your butt.
Oh!
Out of nowhere.
Out of your butt.
stops, spins around, drops trowel.
It's such an Eridu thing to do. God damn, dude.
Disgusting. Okay, what's my DC? I do not actually know. That's really professional of me.
Your
Uh,
DC.
is it 15? Might be 15.
That seems kind of low. Like,
Yeah, remember, I'm not an optimized character, though.
well, that is true.
No, it's 17.
That's what I'm talking about.
I figured it out.
Oh, the spell's level increases by 1 for each additional key point you spend.
Should I just blast it all and try to hit him with a really high-powered one?
Oh no.
Whatever you feel.
I mean, he's got the trigger to the orb that's inside Ein, so...
We
Yep.
don't know what it does, right?
We don't want to find out.
I'm
just gonna hit him with all I got.
Alright.
I let him live once.
We're level 13, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can pump 1 extra key point into Fireball, so you can cast it rather than as a second level spell, you can cast it as a third level.
Let's do it.
Fireball's the third
gonna
level
be-
spell.
Then you can cast it as a 4th.
We can do that. You tell me how to play my character. Whatever happens, I'm gonna hit him with a fireball. That's all I know.
As
Well-
a deck save on his part.
I'm going to attempt to hit him with a fireball. Hopefully I succeed.
Let's see.
I mean, it really is only one more d6. That's kind of not that worth it.
Ooh, rolled a 19. So
No, that was for Halifax.
it just whips Halifax out as a shield.
And then Halifax makes the deck save.
Yeah. Each creature in a 12-foot radius, but shoot in the air.
pretty sure I'm lighting this building on fire. I mean, it's
So,
very much a...
9d6. And then halved because he succeeded.
Well, I rolled a bunch of 6s and 5s, so that's good.
Nice.
Hmm.
All right. Wow, I'm proud of Eridu for actually
40 damage.
getting a super sick elemental discipline, dude. That's that one's sick.
I like it.
Hell
How
yeah.
much damage?
40.
40
Not
damage.
That's not halved, so halved would be 20.
Still.
Just
Yeah.
big old fireball.
Screaming, throwing hands forward. A small ember just appears about 15 feet above Agrian, which then collapses in on itself and quickly bursts into a massive conflagration that engulfs him entirely. You hear him begin to scream, and as the flames recede back to the tiny point that they originated from, and then just disappear in a spark, you see that he is singed, very badly burned. He's getting back to his feet, holds this device up in his hands, stares at Eridu. Mistake number 1, boy. And he presses the button. He then
Oh, damn.
over his shoulder and points. That warehouse down the way in about 20 seconds is gonna blow.
Wait, he doesn't know we've got the thing, does he?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, oh shit.
Oh shit, dude.
Quick! Throw iron at him!
Make
It's now Leah's turn.
Oh my god.
Okay, I got this. I got this.
Oh
Definitely
wow.
got this.
Can I defer my turn, maybe?
Yeah, you can. You can hold it, wait for a bit, see what else happens.
I think. Well, also, I think that would be kind of more in character anyway, because she's still coming off of panic.
Yeah, Ellie.
And I said I've got this. I meant I'm reading my spells and I'll have it. In a second.
Are we all in
Like the alleyway.
the alleyway by now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've all heard the shit going
Uh-huh.
down.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
20 seconds.
Like Ain's just on his hind legs rubbing his neck like, "Argh."
yeah. Oh, yikes! Yikes!
Okay.
Okay. So if Ellie,
20 seconds.
yeah,
Right.
Agner's. I'm just gonna say this. Agner has one more use of dispel magic that he
Don't
could
do it.
use.
I don't think it's going to be enough. I think this is going to be high.
Mm.
So what I'm considering,
Okay.
the fear is gonna be an issue though. Do I have any like tongues, like big like workers? You know,
I'd say so. So as long as you've got a kit, a toolkit of some kind.
Yeah. I've got like 5 toolkits, different ones. This is what I want to do, but I presume like it's a timed thing. Like, can I, as an artificer, try and work out like, is it specifically like a timer is going down, it'll blow up then, or could something trigger it first? Like, if I dropped it, would that potentially? Oh, but I don't want to lose it. I have to take it back to the people.
I'd allow you, without it using up your action, to quickly make an intelligence ability check to work out if that's what's going to happen.
How smart is Ellie feeling?
Because it could also be something else in the warehouse. It might not even be the sphere necessarily.
Oh, it'll be this. It's gotta be this. 18.
You'll know that dropping it won't set it off, but that yes, the container also was the trigger for it. It is a part of the artifact.
Okay. Right, here's what I was
could've built
thinking.
that.
Here's what I was thinking, and then you guys can tell me a different plan. Because this is silly. I was going to pick it up with tongs, cast blink on myself, to disappear until it's been there nearly 20 seconds. And on my turn, that it's just 20 seconds, cast fly, fly over him and drop it on him as it blows up. No one's into that plan.
Well, I mean,
we really can't
no,
discuss
it's,
this in battle. You just
Yeah.
gotta make a decision.
If I could say one thing, I think it would make more sense to try and just use the blink to get both you and the thing into the ethereal plane, and then get yourself back into the material plane and leave the bomb in the ethereal plane.
Can I do that? Can you do that?
Can you do anything in D&D?
Can that hap-
Can you do
It's a
anything?
valid question.
It's a valid question.
I mean, if Blink sends you into the material plane, into the
Ethereal
Yeah, that's
plane.
what it does. That's
The question is, when you let go of things in the ethereal plane, do they remanifest in the material plane? That's the real question.
Yeah, this is one of those like very sticky, like weird points that you could just lose yourself in discussion and be like, no, it's like this.
Kind of wish
It's
that I
like-
stuffed face.
yeah, you know what? You go to the ethereal plane. You can see and interact with ethereal plane things, and not the material plane. Yeah, you go to the ethereal plane with whatever you have on you, and so you can just let go of a thing, and it's then in the ethereal plane.
But if it was to blow up in the ethereal plane, it wouldn't affect, unless it's a thing that affects past the ethereal, like past the plane it's on.
Right, we wouldn't know
It
that.
shouldn't affect.
Wouldn't know that until it actually blows up.
I like
I
this.
think, I mean, Ellie might. Maybe it's the kind of thing that she would be able to work out, though.
I really.
Since we've had a few more bits of context, I'd allow anyone to make a history check. See if you can do a thing.
I mean, I got 24.
I mean, I'm
That's a
gonna
good
let
number.
I'm gonna let Ellie take that because there's no reason for Eridu to try to history his way through that.
Mm-hmm.
What was the result? Sorry,
24.
24. While discussing about the ethereal plane and thinking of taking it there, you are reminded of when this first came up, and it was the Drow bringing it in to Twin Harbors in response to the party bringing a body back from a desert far to the north. That desert is notorious for lots of ethereal shenanigans and goings on, and it's theorized that some great cataclysm happened there.
Okay. And it affected the material plane? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying? Oh my god. Right, okay, then I will instead cast heat shield, if I can find it. Just literally just saw it.
We got dispel magic. Oh, I'm fixated on this spell. I'm
I mean,
fixated
I have
far-
on
spell magic
dispelling.
too, but I don't think it'll be.
How far away is Egrian?
On top of the
Adrian's like,
building?
yeah, it's 20 feet.
Okay.
I will cast fire shield on myself, and then I am gonna push or pull Emily off of the back of Iron, and I'm gonna climb on him and I'm gonna ride him away, and try and ride the bomb away from people.
Do the classic superhero move and try and drop it in the harbor.
For sure. The
Yeah,
Batman,
head
we were
towards the
just
water.
talking about that the other week or whatever. The Batman little thing where he's got the bomb above his head, and he's like, ah! Well,
Some
I
days
mean,
you just can't get rid of a bomb.
yeah. But
Right.
heroic. Poor Ian, though. Poor Ian.
I can build another one.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's my only 4th level spell though.
Don't ever say you can build another one. It like
Well, not in front of Edoras.
not the same Ein. It just won't be.
Ein 2.0, right. Ellie throws Emily down, gets on Ein, starts riding away. Aigner.
Egner probably didn't get the status update that well, and also he probably didn't even realize that the artifact is in Ein at all, because that was
yes.
it was a very visual thing.
Marjorie will shout out that Ellie's riding away. Should we follow her? She dropped Emily. So it won't fill in all the blanks, but
For sure.
give I something to work on.
What kind of call is Agner gonna make?
Other people can
Gonna make a wisdom.
yell as a free action during on his turn, though, right?
Yeah.
So, like, someone who puts the pieces together
Yeah.
can be like, no, don't.
Well, I just rolled him another wisdom saving throw to like, if he rolls high, then that's a degree of like rationality, and if he rolls low, it's like him like giving into his impulses. So he rolled very high. He actually rolled a 20. So obviously, in this context, giving into his impulses would be like trying to jump into danger to save Ellie or try and figure out what's going on with Ellie. But acting rationally, he instead commands everyone, "Someone secure Emily. Let's get these people to safety first."
How much of an automaton is Ein? Like, does he think?
I don't know. I don't really know how it works. I don't think, in my head, I don't think that he does. I think you just give him, he's like a robot. He
Okay.
doesn't have, brains or feelings or anything. But Ellie, like, portrays that on him. That's why it's...
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
But he has health and he has, like,
Yeah.
reactions and stuff. But...
Yeah.
Then he has a family.
Oh,
A few little Ein pups and an Ein wife at home.
Like batteries not included. D&D
Exactly. So Egner actually is going to try and lead everyone. He'll command Eridu and Leah to both pick up Emily at the same time. Like maybe one of them will get, they'll go under her arms, and they'll both have to work together to support Emily. But he's going to say, "Down the alley, we need to find a culvert." So that's it.
Okay.
Okay. Eridu.
Alright, so, Bomb in Ein. Emily's riding off to be a hero. Agner's getting people to safety. And Agrian is standing on top of a building with a detonator and Halifax's staff.
Yeah.
Alright. And you said, on top of a building, so maybe 20 feet away?
Mhm.
Alright, cool. I am going to run up that building and just charge straight at him.
Oh my god.
And go ahead and try to actually kick him off of the building.
Right. In that case, I would like you, rather than an attack roll, give me an athletics. No, make it an acrobatics.
Yes.
Ability check.
Acrobatics.
I do like me acrobatic stuff. I do like it when I roll 5s on acrobatic stuff.
I like it as well.
Actually, I don't. Can I have an inspiration or something that I can use to re-roll that? Because that's not great. I want something else.
Oh, if only I was there, I could flash of genius you.
But
But I've gone.
you like some guidance, I guess?
He's got a 9 as a result.
Well, I'll take that guidance retroactively.
Guidance.
Link,
Guidance.
Link. Come on, I have an 8.
Go for the guidance, dude.
You know what? Right, you've got an 8. You're 1 away.
Oh, then it's automatically.
What you could do is either, if you roll for the guidance and just get a 1, we could discuss the succeeding at a cost thing.
You just need to not roll a 1
I
on a D4.
I want to succeed on a cost. That's what I want to do. So I mean,
Good
Yeah.
luck, brother.
I rolled a 4 though, so
Hey.
I succeeded at it. Not, but we can discuss cost because like we're retroactively giving me guidance with no real reason.
All right. So as you run up the building and try to throw him off with like a spin kick, like throwing him over, what we could do is have, as you're going to kick him, he grabs your foot, stopping you from kicking him with that one, but then you sucker punch him with the other one, and he's holding on to you, so both of you get thrown away and land on the roof of the cornerstone together.
I'm
So
good
you've
with
knocked him
that.
from the roof of one building to both of you being on the roof of the other.
I'm good with that 100%. And at this point, I think just as a non-action, because I'm not gonna like actually do anything but it, but we're probably both kind of like scrambling for something. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to grab the detonator, but there's some kind of scramble happening here.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. You know what? I'm going to see what drops into the alley and what goes onto the thing. So 4, 5, 6 is on the roof. Okay, Halifax's staff is on the roof.
Ooh.
The detonator is in the alley.
Oh,
all
Well, in that case, do you think that's a good dramatic moment to take a break on?
I think it is. Ellie's
Right.
racing away, getting the bomb away. It is on the roof with Agrian.
Egner's trying to save the unconscious people. Is he the only one thinking of the unconscious people who can't defend
I'm
themselves
thinking of
right
everyone. Hey, I'm literally sacrificing myself.
You got a
Wow.
fire. You got a fire
Yourself.
shield. You'll be fine. You got a fire
Like half
shield.
damage.
Yeah.
That's not.
All right. So in that case, hey, join us in 10 to 15 minutes, and we'll see if this thing blows up. We'll see if whatever happens. I don't know. Join us. We'll see. And
We all die in the end.
oh gosh, it's not that Shakespearean. Hey, we'll be right back, y'all.